You can share if you can. Have you found it already today?
It's not.
Jaya Radhe, Jaya Krishna, Jaya Vrindavan, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Krishna, Jaya Vrindavan, Govinda, Gopi Nasa Madhya, Shri Govinda, Gopi Nasa Madhya, Shama Kunda, Radha Kunda, Giri Govardhan. You can sit in a chair. Kalindi, Yamuna, Jaya, Jaya Maha. Dwadasha Kala
Yeshigata, Vanshigata,
Yaha Saba Lila Koila Shinanda Nanda Shinanda Yasora Jaya Jaya Gopaka Shiramari Jaya Jaya Deno Vatsaka Jaya Visha Bhanu Jaya Kirtira Sundari Jaya Visha Bhanu Jaya Kirtira Sundari Jaya Puna Kasi Jaya Bira Nagari
Jaya
Jaya Jaya Gopishwara Vrindavana Mar
Jaya Jaya Gopishwara Vrindavan
Jai Jai Krishna Sakha Patu Dvitara
Jaya Jaya Krishna Sakha Bhatu Vijaya
Jaya Rama Gatha Jaya Rohini Nanda
Jaya Rama Gatha Jaya Rohini Nanda
Jaya Jaya Vrindavana Vasi Jatta Jan
Jaya Jaya Vrindavan Vasi Jata Jaya
Jaya Jija Patni Jaya Naga Kanyaka
Jaya Jija Patni Jaya Naga Kanyaka
Bhakti Teja Hara Palo Govinda Charan
Bhakti Teja Hara Pailo Govinda Chara
Shri Rasa Mandala Jaya Jaya Radha Shyam
Shri Rasa Mandala Jaya Jaya Radha Shyam
Jaya Jaya Rasa Lila Prabhu Manoram
Jaya Jaya Rasa Lila Sarva Manoram
Jaya Jaya Jwala Rasa Sarva Rasa Sar
Jaya Jaya Jvala Rasa Sarva Rasa Sar
Parakiya Bhavi Jaha Brajete Prachar
Parakiya Bhave Jaya Rajate Pracha
Shri Janava Pada Padma Kore Asmara
Srijanava Pada Padma Koriya Smara
Dina Krishna Dasa Kohe Nam Sankirtan
Lila Krishna Dasa Kore Nama Sankirtan
Dina Krishna Dasa Kohe Nam Sankirtan
Lila Krishna Dasa Kore Nama Sankirtan
Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Jaya Vrindavan
Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Jaya Vrindavan
Shri Govinda Gopinath Madan Mohan
Shri Govinda Gopinath Madana Mohan
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Krishna
Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Oh Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Gora Nitai, Gora Nitai, Gora Nitai, Gora Nitai. Jaya Gora Nitai, Gora Nitai, Gora Nitai, Jaya Gora Nitai. Jaya Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram. Jaya Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Jaya Krishna Balaram. Jaya Radha, Shama Sundar Radha, Shama Sundar Radha, Shama Sundar Radha, Shama Sundar Shama Sundar Radha, Shama Sundar Radha, Shama Sundar Radha, Shama Sundar. Nittai Go Haribo, 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 Nittai Go Haribo. Jaya Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Ashtota Sarashri A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Kota Vaishnav Vrinda Ki Jai. Nama Acharya Shri Haridasa Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Se Gaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shamakunda Radhakunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Shri Mayapur Dham Ki Jai. Ganga Maya Ki Jai. Yamuna Maya Ki Jai. Tulasi Deva Ki, Bhakti Deva Ki, Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki, Lord Chaitanya's Harinam Sankirtan Ki, Srihat Mridanga Ki, Srila Prabhupada Ki, Go Premanande, oh glorious to the assembled devotees, oh glorious to Sri Guru and Gauranga, oh glorious to Srila Prabhupada, Nama Om Vishnu Padaya. Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swamini Kinavan Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nivasesha Sanyavadi Plastachade Shatani Vanchakalpa Turubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyebhyacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Sankirtan Movement Ki Jai. Hare Krishna. Welcome everybody this afternoon. Thank you for coming. And new faces are with us today. We really welcome Narottam Prabhu. Nice to see you again. Thank you so much for taking the devotees down to Nityananda Vat. You went to the temple of Lord Nityananda?
Yeah, with Anupam Goswami lives, and we got darshan of the original stamp from Chankazi.
Wow.
And his ankle, not ankle belt, but his bracelets from his eyes.
Very nice. Holy, deep experience. So, I thought today we'll read from Chaitanya Charitamrita, the section on Lord Chaitanya's going to Vrindavan. Should I use the microphone or not? Is it necessary? If you want me to, I can. What do you think?
It's okay.
It's okay? Yeah, as you like. So, this is in the Madhya Lila. If you want to follow, Madhya Lila, chapter 17, text 154 onwards. 154 onwards, Madhya Lila. Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Sharupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktyakam Namami Bhakti Shaktikam Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Padayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaura Tvishe Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama Hare Rama
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Rama Rama Hare Hare
Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he took sannyas, his desire was to go to Vrindavan, but it was not the time to go. Are you from Ukraine or Russia? Czech. You're speaking Russian? Russian. You're translating. Are you translating? Into Russian. Oh, nice. It wasn't the time to go. Lord had another internal reasons as well as external. But now the time is coming after his South Indian tour. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has decided to go to Vrindavan. And with the permission, although you could say rather not so willing in some ways, permission of the devotees of Jagannath Puri, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu set off to Vrindavan. And following him, Gadadhar Pandit and other devotees went with him. Even his own servant, secretary, Srup Damodar, they traveled with him for some distance. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sent Gadadhar Pandit back to Jagannath Puri. Gadadhar was very, you could say, disappointed. He couldn't bear separation. To hell with my Kshetra sannyas or whatever. Without you, there's no meaning. But Lord Chaitanya sent him back. And King Prataparudra had made all arrangements for Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu on his journey to easily pass over or through toll gates and crossing rivers and so on, to make it easier for him. But upon reaching Bengal, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to various places, and he eventually reached Ramkeli. And there in Ramkeli he met his eternal servants and associates, Rupa and Sanatan, who took shelter of him. Sometimes it's said they're his original disciples or followers. They took complete shelter and eventually left their government posts and joined Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in various places. Eventually in Vrindavan, they ended up here. And then Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu proceeded on towards Vrindavan. But Sanatana Goswami had advised him. By this time there were huge crowds of followers with Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Large crowds. For various reasons, Sanatana Goswami advised Lord Chaitanya not to travel with such a large crowd of devotees. So when he reached Kanai Natashala on the borders in Bengal, on his way, he then decided to take the words of Sanatana Goswami to heart, and he decided not to proceed any further, because it would not be good to go on with for various reasons. To enter Vrindavan, he was thinking, with a large crowd is not good, one should enter alone. On top of that, it would draw much attention from various Muslim rulers or whatever. So, for various reasons, and internal reasons, external reasons, the Lord returned to Jagannath Puri. He arrived in Puri just in time for the Rath Yatra festival and consequently Chaturmasya, when the devotees from Bengal would annually, as long as Lord Chaitanya was there, they would annually go for pilgrimage, walking to Puri, hundreds and hundreds of them, to have the opportunity to be in the association of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu during Chaturmasya and to attend the Rath Yatra. That year, Lord Chaitanya had ordered Nityananda not to come to Puri. He'd given him that instruction, as we're probably aware. He gave him the instruction to go to Bengal and preach and not return to Puri. But Nityananda, of course, eventually did return to Puri. He couldn't resist the association to be with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So that year he didn't come, but many other devotees did come to Puri. And at the end of Chaturmasya, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the devotees returned to Bengal. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu requested the devotees' permission to again leave for Vrindavan. Again, they were very hesitant, although Sri Damodar would say, "You, my Lord, are the Supreme Lord, completely independent to do as you wish. There's nothing we can do to stop you. But it is at least our request, my Lord. Please do not go alone." The Lord was saying, "This time I want to go alone." When he traveled in South India with Kaliya Krishna Das, Kaliya Krishna Das proved to be a little bit unsteady in mind. And this very much disturbed Lord Chaitanya. In fact, he became so unsteady, he became attracted to the opposite sex and fell down with some women of the Bhattahari race. The Lord Chaitanya was not very willing to go with somebody who was not very pure in heart, who was unsteady in mind. How can you enter in to that, let's say, relish that Vrindavan Dham like this with someone who's unsteady? So he didn't want to take anyone with him. He said, I cannot take one of my personal associates because if I take one, the others will be so upset. It's only natural. I was thinking just now, who shall I ask to read the translation? I thought, well, if I ask one person, the other might think, wow, why is he asking him or her? Why not me? Sometimes these thoughts come in our mind. Huh? We see ourselves in the center, not seeing Krishna's plan for us all. Anyway, eventually, Srup Damodar suggested a devotee named Balabhadra Bhattacharya, who was not a close associate, but nonetheless he was a great devotee of Lord Chaitanya. He rather kept a little distance, you could say. But he'd known Lord Chaitanya the time he was in Mayapur. And he moved to Puri to be in the vicinity of the Lord. And he was a very chaste and sober brahmachari. So Lord Chaitanya was considering and said, my Lord, also, please take another devotee with you to carry your cloth and your water pot. Balabhadra Bhattacharya, you will be going to many places on your way to Vrindavan, even through the jungles. And who will cook for you? There are no brahmanas there. The elephants cannot cook. The tigers cannot cook. You will need someone to cook for you, my Lord. Please take these two servants. Although it's generally said or heard that only Balabhadra went, in other places it indicates that another servant was there also. And at this time, Lord Chaitanya agreed to take these servants with him. But that was it. And they set off an auspicious time after Chaturmasya on their way to Vrindavan, traveling by foot through the paths less trodden, through the jungles, across the hills, so as not to attract a large crowd. They did attract a large crowd in the forest of Jharikand, as you may have heard. Who did they attract? Animals. Various animals. What type of animals? Tigers. First he met tigers. A bunch of tigers, a pack of tigers. And what did they do? Huh? He had them all dancing and chanting. Can you imagine? We can't even get humans to dance and chant. Even ourselves, sometimes we can't get ourselves to dance and chant. He had tigers swinging around. I don't know if maybe they were holding each other's poles and swinging around like this. Ecstatic kirtans, transcendental. That would be the day. Huh? I don't mean somebody with a dress of a tiger, but imagine going down the high street with animals jumping and dancing and singing. That would really, that would be quite a sensation. World news. World news. And then he came across elephants and other animals, and he got them all to chant the holy name of Krishna. Wake up, sleeping tigers. You're wasting your human form of life. Chant the holy name of Krishna. Not your human, your tiger form of life. And then tigers, deers, elephants all gathered together. Countless animals joined Lord Chaitanya in kirtan. Deers were dancing with tigers. That'll be the day. Prabhupada then gives a commentary on the verse given by therein, how in Vrindavan there is no envy. In the animals, they have no envy for each other. Within the material world, everyone has envy of each other, and consequently are trying to get something out of each other. Bring someone down or obtain something which they have. In the spiritual world, all the animals are free of envy, happy to see others happy. There's not a trace of envy. Prabhupada said that spiritual world means no envy. Be nice. Prabhupada created this movement also with that in mind, that by practicing Krishna consciousness, and especially by preaching Krishna consciousness, one could become freed of envy. Especially during kirtan. Prabhupada said that at least during the kirtan we could become free of envy. Not thinking anything but positively, and happily to see others chanting and dancing. This is a symptom of spiritual advancement. No envy. So eventually Lord Chaitanya, having travelled through the jungles, he reached Varanasi. How many of you have been to Varanasi? Anyone else been to Varanasi? You met the Mayavadis there? The Nagababas. All kinds of different practitioners, spiritual practitioners are there. And now, of course, there's lots of Vaishnavas there as well. There are temples of Vaishnavism there too. But mainly it's the seat of the Mayavadas. Huh? So that time especially, many Mayavadis are there. Lord Chaitanya is thinking, I brought my goods here to Varanasi, but nobody is interested. Nobody wants to buy them. It's like you go to somewhere on book distribution, nobody wants to buy. You ever had that experience? You went to Auxerre one time. Remember Auxerre? You said it was the most difficult place I think you've ever been. Nobody wanted to buy a book. You may go back another time, everybody. You don't know. Sometimes it's like that. So Lord Chaitanya said he would be willing to give his goods at any price. Any price, if someone will take. But then he moved on from there. He met some of his devotees there, Tapana Mishra, Chandrasekhar and others were there also in Varanasi. Then he moved on, pilgrimage, coming back and forth, River Ganga, and then he came to Prayag. Prayag, the holy place where Srila Prabhupada lived for many years. He had his Prayag pharmacy, the conjunction, Triveni, of the three holy rivers. How many of you been to Prayag or Allahabad? Anyone been? No one else? You didn't go there. You didn't go. Wonderful conjunction of the rivers. We cannot see the Saraswati, it's underground. But Jamuna comes from one side, Ganga from the other, and they join what's called Triveni. And at that point, of course, is annually the big Kumbh Mela is there. Sometimes the Maha Kumbh Mela. When how many people gather? More people than are in this room. Is that possible? We're frogs in the well, huh? Frogs in the well. How can it be? There are more people there than in my festival? There are people on other planets? No, there cannot be anyone on any other planet. Frogs in the well. So how many people are there at Kumbh Mela? I've never been for Kumbh Mela. How many people come? For Maha Kumbh Mela. What do they estimate? Visible people, by the way. Invisible people are countless. But visible. Huh? Millions? Huh? I've heard figures of 60 million, 100 million, I don't know. Countless people come. There's no head count. There's no head count to say exactly, but tens of millions of people come. From all over India, Nepal, out of nowhere. They come out of the mountains, through the rivers, whoop, come up. The Nagababas come down. Oh, everyone's there. Anyone's there, huh? Spiritual paths are there. The big gurus and yogis. So Lord Chaitanya was there. This is pretty much during the Kartik season when he was there. Because he arrived in Vrindavan just, I think it was just at the end of Kartik or the beginning of Katyayana period, December time. And Prabhupada took initiation there actually in Allahabad, 1933, in the Gaudiya Math. Then he moved on from Prayag towards Vrindavan, feeling great ecstasy. So we'll read from here in the Chaitanya Charitamrita now. This is text 154, chapter 17. Madhya Leela. We'll just read the English, time and circumstance. Krishnadas Kaviraj writes, while the Lord was going to Mathura, he came across the river Yamuna several times. And as soon as he saw the river Yamuna, he would immediately jump in, falling unconscious in the water, in the ecstasy of love of Krishna. When he approached Mathura and saw the city, he immediately fell to the ground and offered obeisances with great ecstatic love. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu entered the city of Mathura, he took his bath at Vishram Ghat. Have any of you taken your bath at Vishram Ghat? If you go on Vrindavan, Brajmandal Parikrama, you will almost certainly have taken your bath at Vishram Ghat. We normally take it, some at the beginning, but at the end also. Bath at Vishram Ghat. Holy place. He then visited the birthplace of Krishna and saw the deity named Keshavji. He offered his respectful obeisances to this deity. When I first went to Mathura in 76, there was only a tiny little temple there. Now it's quite big, isn't it? The Keshavji temple is quite big. It's really small then. Later on they built a big temple. There was a big mosque there. Still the mosque is there, isn't it? A big mosque. On the place of Krishna's birthplace, almost. Little distance. They did this, just like in Ayodhya, they built a big mosque, isn't it? That's a big history, won't get into that. But there's a big temple of Lord Ramchandra there now. I heard they've opened it, is that right? I heard it's opened now. Changed, there's a long history. But now there's a big temple of Lord Ram in Ayodhya. So there they built a temple of Keshavji, Prabhupada says. The temple of Keshavji is very much improved. Aurangzeb, he built the big mosque. And Keshavji was very insignificant. Anyway, they built a large temple now. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu chanted, danced, and made loud vibrations, all the people were astonished to see his ecstatic love. Just try to, if you can, in your heart, try to visualize, meditate on this scene of Lord Chaitanya in Mathura, and we'll go on to Vrindavan. He's on the edge. One Brahmin fell at the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and then began to dance with him in ecstatic love. Dancing with Lord Chaitanya. The two of them danced in ecstatic love and embraced each other. Raising their arms, they chanted. They said, chant the holy names of Hari and Krishna. Calling out to everyone. All the people then began to chant, Hari, 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 Hari. And there was a great uproar. The priest in Lord Keshava's service offers Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu a garland. When the people saw Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's dancing and chanting, they were struck with wonder. And they all said, such transcendental love is never an ordinary thing. The people said, simply by seeing Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, everyone is maddened with love of Krishna. Indeed, everyone is laughing, crying, dancing, chanting, and taking the holy name of Krishna. Certainly, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is in all respects the incarnation of Lord Krishna. Now he has come to Mathura to deliver everyone. After this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took the Brahmana aside. Sitting in a solitary place, the Lord began to question him. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, you are an elderly Brahmin. You are sincere, and you are advanced in spiritual life. Where from have you got this transcendental opulence of ecstatic love for Krishna? Where have you got it from? This is an essential understanding of where does ecstatic love come from. It doesn't exactly come from practicing sadhana bhakti. That may bring one to a Shakti or fixed attachment to Krishna. But that's still within the realm of practicing. Whether it be Vaidhi or Raganuga, it's still practicing. So where does this actual ecstatic or bhava bhakti come from which you are manifesting? The Brahmin replied, His Holiness Sri Madhavendra Puri came to the city of Mathura while he was on tour. While at Mathura, Sripad Madhavendra Puri visited my house and accepted me as a disciple. He even took lunch at my home. After installing the deity of Gopal, Sri Madhavendra Puri rendered him service. That very deity is still being worshipped at Govardhan Hill. As soon as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard about Madhavendra Puri's relationship with the Brahmin, he immediately offered obeisances at the feet of the Brahmin. Becoming fearful, the Brahmin also immediately fell at the Lord's lotus feet. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, You are on the platform of my spiritual master, and I am your disciple. Since you are my spiritual master, it is not befitting that you offer me obeisances. Upon hearing this, the Brahmin became afraid. He then said, Why do you speak like this? You are a sannyasi. Upon seeing your ecstatic love, I can just imagine that you must have some relationship. This is Lord Chaitanya speaking. Upon seeing your ecstatic love, I can just imagine that you must have some relationship with Madhavendra Puri, This is my understanding. This kind of ecstatic love can be experienced only when one has a relationship with Madhavendra Puri. You want somewhere to sit, Patit? You look uncomfortable.
No, I'm good now. I was changing position, thank you.
Changing position.
Yes.
Without him, even the scent of such transcendental ecstatic love is impossible. Madhavendra Puri, we heard yesterday, if you came on the parikrama, a little bit about him. In Govinda Kund, about his devotional practices and his service of Gopal, etc. Madhavendra Puri is not an ordinary personality, as none of the associates of Lord Chaitanya are. Just like with Srila Prabhupada, anyone who associates with a pure devotee of the Lord, their lives are changed. Madhavendra Puri, he sowed the seed of ecstatic love of Krishna in the stage of Vipulamba Bhav, the stage of Madhurya Ras, the first time manifest in our parampara. So here Lord Chaitanya is praising Madhavendra Puri without his association. How is it possible that one can even get a scent of real transcendental ecstatic love? Because he's given that seed. Up to that stage it was always with reverence or mixed or something. But not this form of love of God. And Madhavendra Puri is also known as being his identity. I'd say identity, but his role, his position is that of a kalpavriksha tree. Anyone who has his association, any of the fruits of love of God can manifest. Whatever one's, you could say, bhava or mood is in relation with Krishna, in the association of such souls as Madhavendra Puri can fructify. So Lord Chaitanya was not at all surprised on hearing the good fortune of this Brahmin to have taken shelter of Madhavendra Puri and consequently been enthused, injected with love of God. The effect. If the heart is open, Prabhupada's the same, our hearts may not be so open, we're still maintaining a lot of other associates in our hearts. We have so many other thoughts and other attachments. Otherwise, the same thing. It just takes a little bit more time before our hearts become purified of all these other ideas. The nartas. Balabhadra Bhattacharya then explained the relationship between Madhavendra Puri and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And I think you all know that relationship. What was that relationship between Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Madhavendra Puri? He's his Paramaguru, great spiritual master. Although there is no record of Lord Chaitanya directly meeting Madhavendra Puri. Nityananda Prabhu met him. But through Ishwara Puri, that seed of bhakti was cultivated. Ishwara Puri was another disciple of Madhavendra Puri. And then Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu fully manifested that fruit of pure love of God through this Sankirtan movement. After hearing this, the Brahmin became very pleased and began to dance. The Brahmin then took Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to his home and out of his own free will began to serve the Lord in various ways. He asked Balabhadra Bhattacharya to cook Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's lunch. At that time the Lord, smiling, spoke as follows. It's amazing you have the chance every day to cook Lord Chaitanya's lunch. If you have Gaurnitai deities or a picture of Panchatattva or whatever, isn't it? We may not think of it like that, but really we've got this opportunity. Yeah? We're cooking for Lord Chaitanya. We're not just cooking to fill our bellies. Maybe. That's what we're thinking, I don't know. But to please Lord Chaitanya. It's a wonderful opportunity. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Madhavendra Puri has already taken lunch at your place. Therefore you may cook and give me the food. That is my instruction. Whatever action a great man performs, common men follow. And whatever standard he sets by exemplary acts, all the world pursues. Many of you know that verse from Bhagavad Gita. Yat pamanam kurte, lokastad anivartate. What verse, what chapter? Chapter 3. Chapter 3, text 21. Maybe you've got it on your mobile. Okay. The Brahmin belonged to the Sanodiya Brahmin community, and a sannyasi does not accept food from such a Brahmana. This is the caste system. Huh? Even as a Brahmana, there's different levels of Brahmanas. I guess the Sanodiya one is not a very elevated caste or section amongst the Brahmanas. A bit of a purport there about them. They're the Brahmins of some lower caste in society. Although the Brahmin belonged to the Sanodiya community, Srila Madhavendra Puri had seen that he behaved like a Vaishnava and had therefore accepted him as a disciple. The food he had cooked had also been accepted by Madhavendra Puri. Vaishnava is higher than any Brahmin caste. Therefore Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu willingly requested food from the Brahmin, and the Brahmin, feeling natural humility, began to speak as follows. It is a great fortune for me to offer you food. You are the Supreme Lord, and being in the transcendental position, you are not restricted in any way. Foolish people will blaspheme you. But I shall not tolerate the words of such mischievous people. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied, the Vedas, Puranas, and great learned sages are not always in agreement with one another. Consequently, there are different religious principles. Today, I don't know if it's sages and learned personalities or what, but there's certainly lots of differences of opinion, isn't it, on religious principles. Even in our own society, we find that at different stages, devotees will see things differently. Maybe due to our conditioning or immature devotional advancement, or what we've heard from somebody who's our authority. And, like children, we accept that as all in all. Or whatever it is, something we picked up from somewhere, some conditioning that we have. We see things differently. On top of that, we are different. So there will always be a flavor of individuality in, let's say, our relationships with various aspects of devotional service or with Krishna. If we all look at the same thing, for instance, if you take, so I have to take something with variety, of course. A little thing, simple thing, here we are. Here is a clock. What do you see, Danitai Prabhu?
Nothing from here.
We must see something.
That's the back of the clock.
Well, you don't even know it's the back of the clock, do you? If you don't know what a clock is, you're just seeing what you see. You're seeing a black square or something with a little line at the bottom. And Gaurnataraj, what do you see?
Air conditioned.
Huh? Like a
black plastic box.
Well, it's not even a box, is it? It's just like a kind of an L shape, isn't it, from there? like an L shape, huh? And I'm seeing a clock with dials on it and numbers and things moving and some letters written on it. It's all the same clock, isn't it? But because we're differently situated, you may see the same clock slightly differently. Is it right or wrong? It's not wrong, is it? But we're only at this point of time, the Lord is only revealing accordingly. And somebody may be seeing more. They may see more and more and more. You're seeing dials on the back. See, I can't see the dials. You're seeing dials on the back. Dial on the ties. Dial on the tie. You should dial on the tie. You should definitely see the dials, at least. So, we're all seeing it little, whatever angle, you'll see it slightly differently. Some will see, oh, it's got some glass on the front. Plastic, whatever. Different things. What is this? 6, 9. Okay, there's an easy example of a number. One man is standing one side of this figure, 6, and the other standing on the other side of the figure, 9. It's the same thing, right? One is saying, it's 9. The other is saying, no, it's not, it's 6. Right? Isn't it? Is it 6 or 9? That's a hard question, that one. A little different than Krishna in a sense, but it's the same thing. Different devotees will argue that the Krishna is Narayan, Ram. And then within the realm of that, you get different devotees who are of different, relationships with Ram or with Narayan, with Krishna. Just like this morning, I'm sat in the garden over here chanting japa, and there's an ecstatic group of devotees. I mean, what is ecstasy? But they are definitely manifesting certain degrees of ecstasy, even if it is in the practicing stage. There's some elements of there. They're dancing and swinging and jumping for about hours. Radhe, 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 Radhe. In and out the temple, whatever it is, onto the road and in again, and they're all in harmony with each other. They're all dancing in the same way. No, no, Prabhu, you can't chant the name of Radha. No, no. It's an offense. Is it an offense? It's not an offense. It's an offense, of course, in one sense, if we're doing it against the order of the spiritual master. Prabhupada didn't exactly say no, but he didn't like it when devotees kept chanting. Followers didn't anything about the residents of Vrindavan. That's totally different. Or followers of other paramparas. But he wanted us to concentrate on the Maha Mantra, which contains Radha. The name Radha is very, very confidential to the Gaudiya Vaishnavas. It's not that we don't appreciate others who are in that, if they're in the right spirit, because without Radha's mercy, where can we go? We can't go anywhere. We're dead. We're helpless. There are different angles of vision of the same objective, same personality of Godhead. And on a lower level, religiosity is governed almost exclusively by birth and material considerations, fanaticism and so on. Very immature stage. But even on the spiritual stage, we even see, there's, in one sense, there's no discord. In another sense, there may be. As even our Narottam Prabhu was here just now, right? He's following a different line of Gaudiya Vaishnavism. There are different lines. And there's no discord, but there's differences. Differences. But that's on a higher level, or maybe a little bit on the lower level. So that will be there, because there's variety, unity in diversity. Yeah? When we see the same common goal, then the negativity doesn't have to dominate. And the lower levels, sometimes the negativity dominates. The differences dominate, not the unity. The differences, likes and dislikes, agreements and disagreements, and it gets really hot sometimes. Somebody starts talking on a higher level or something, don't let them talk again, because it may not be inappropriate. is a long purport to that verse. The rest more here. Just a minute. It's a very, very long purport. There you go. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued, dry arguments are inconclusive. A great personality whose opinion does not differ from others is not considered a great sage. Simply by studying the Vedas, which are variegated, one cannot come to the right path by which religious principles are understood. The solid truth of religious principles is hidden. Where is it hidden? The solid truth, not the relative truth or the compromise or anything. Where is that solid truth hidden? Without looking. Where is it hidden? Yeah, it's hidden in the unadulterated hearts of a self-realized person. They alone know it. They may not reveal it because people are not ready to understand or see it like that. So they give a portion. Just like Jesus said, there are many things I have to tell you, but you're not ready. You can't even follow the basics which I'm giving you, the moral principles, the foundations of genuine religion. That you can't even follow. So how will you expect? Even with us, we're still chanting Nama Parad, or best, mixed devotion, mixed chanting. What's it called? Huh? Namabas. Best Namabas. How do you expect to understand the transcendental nature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in full? Even our chanting, we're in our minds still occupied sometimes with material desire, entangled in various things, still envious of others, sometimes lusty. Sometimes we get angry over the wrong thing. Illusion sometimes. Even we have the association of great persons. Lord Srila Prabhupada said even in the purport, or Lord Chaitanya said, even this personality, Kaliya Krishnadas, became overwhelmed in the association of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, personal servant. So what to speak of us? Don't be surprised. So this happens even in the association of a pure devotee. One can become envious or lusty or angry or greedy or whatever, illusioned. Very powerful. The Lord doesn't interfere with the independence. He may try to encourage us, but we have our free will. It's very dangerous. And we have our free will to execute also in terms of interpretation. But what level are we on to interpret it? It's like the speculation of a scientist or something. They have no eligibility to understand. Our eligibility is there, but it's limited. Only when the heart becomes purified. Gradually things become clear. If we have this good fortune of associating or following in the footsteps of these unadulterated devotees. Consequently, as the Shastras confirm, one should accept whatever progressive path the Mahajans advocate. Famous statement, one of the most famous lines. What is it in Sanskrit? Mahajano yena kataksapanta. This is the secret of, making genuine progress. So if the Mahajan that we're following says, this is the process, we follow that process. And this is the understanding, like Jesus said, I am the way. Sometimes it's not actually written exactly like that, but they say, I am the way, the truth, the light. No man shall come to the Lord but through me. Well, for that situation, that's not wrong. He's giving the relevant path for those on that particular level of maturity or immaturity. They give what is required. As one advances, they'll reveal more, but not prematurely. This word premature, sometimes I speak Prematurely means prema, too early. Prematurely. Almost exactly the same words. When the time is right, even Prabhupada said if I had one disciple who was fully matured, he would sit down and just reveal everything. Someone mature. It doesn't just mean materially mature, you're all together. It's not even someone who's freed of anarthas, but someone who's generally advanced on the path of devotional service, completely attached to Krishna. After this discussion, the Brahmins served lunch to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And all the people residing in Mathura came to see the Lord. News spread quickly. People came by the hundreds and thousands. No one could count them. Therefore Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came out of the house to give audience to the people. When the people assembled, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu raised his arms and said very loudly, Haribo! Haribo! The people responded to the Lord and became ecstatic. As if mad, they began to dance and to vibrate the transcendental sound. Hari! 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 Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu bathed in the 24 ghats along the banks of the Yamuna, and the Brahmin showed him all the places of pilgrimage. I think these are the ghats along in Mathura's side, all the various bathing ghats in Mathura. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu visited all the holy places on the banks of the Yamuna, including Swayambhu, Vishramghat, Dirgha Vishnu, Bhuteshwar, Mahavidya and Gokarna. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to see the various forests of Vrindavan, he took the Brahmin with him. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu visited the different forests, including Madhuvan. Who knows the names of the forests? Let's have a go here. 12 forests, huh? Madhuvan, Bahulavan, Talavan, Mahavan, Kamyavan, Kokilavan. Some others, come on. Others, that's 6. Vrindavan. Somebody else. Huh? That is a small van. Not one of the 12. It is a van. Small one. Huh? Where? Say louder. Bandirvan. Huh? What is that? Bilvavan? Bilvavan? Huh? Bandiravan? We're only on 9. What are we? We had that already. We're only on 9. Huh? Huh? Bahulavan? 10.
We said Bahulavan.
Did we?
Yeah. Did you said Madhuvan?
We said Mahavan. We didn't say Madhuvan. Madhuvan, 10. I think we're on 10. What are the other 2? Difficult to remember on the spot. There are 7 on the western side and 5 on the eastern side. We're definitely missing 1 or 2. Kadiravan? Huh? Well, Bilvavan was mentioned. Is that one of the 12? Lohavan. Lohavan. 2 of those 3 must be the remaining 2. I think we've got them all. Huh? We said Lohavan already. That was just mentioned. There's a mention here. Some of them, yeah, Lohavan, that was mentioned. Bilvavan, yeah, that was one. So Lohavan and Bilvavan are the other 2. On the eastern side are Bhadravan, Bilvavan, Lohavan, Bandiravan, and Mahavan. On the western side are Madhuvan, Talavan, Kamudavan, Bahulavan, Kamyavan, Kadiravan and Vrindavan, 12 forests. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu passed through Vrindavan, herds of grazing cows saw him pass, and immediately surrounding him, they began to very loudly. Like the cows here sometimes, they move very loudly at night sometimes. Seeing the herds approaching, the Lord was stunned with ecstatic love. The cows then began to lick his body out of great affection. Becoming pacified, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu began to caress the cows, and the cows, becoming unable to give up his company, went with him. It was only with great difficulty that the coward men were able to keep the cows back. Then when the Lord chanted, all the deer heard his sweet voice and approached him. When the does and the bucks came and saw the Lord's face, they began to lick his body. Not being at all afraid of him, they accompanied him along the path. Bumblebees and birds like the parrot and cuckoo all began to sing loudly on the 5th note. And the peacocks began to dance in front of the Lord. What's the 5th note? Musicians?
Depends on the scale.
Is there a 5th note on the scale?
In each scale there's a 5th note.
No. Is that the highest?
No, the highest is the 7th note.
7. 5th note.
It's because in the flute there it goes. So each flute has a 5th note. There's different flutes.
Jayendra Maharaj was saying not actually the note but the melody, the fixed melody.
Pardon?
Jayendra Maharaj in his explanation was saying that it's not the note but the melody.
The melody? Panchama, the 5th musical note. That's what it says in the word for word. Upon seeing Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the trees and creepers of Vrindavan became jubilant. Their twigs stood up, and they began to shed tears of ecstasy in the form of honey. Tears of ecstasy in the form of honey. The tree, branches and creepers, overloaded with fruits and flowers, fell down at the lotus feet of the Lord and greeted him with various presentations as if they were friends. You ever noticed that so many of the trees in Vrindavan are so unique, right? Anitai was mentioning yesterday. They're like trees nowhere else. Huh? They're just unique. They're so intertwined. Many of them are like bowing down on the ground. It's amazing. They're not ordinary devotees. Thus, all the moving and non-moving living entities of Vrindavan became very jubilant to see the Lord. It was as if friends were made happy by seeing another friend. Seeing their affection, the Lord was moved by ecstatic love. He began to sport with them exactly as a friend sports with his friends. Thus, he voluntarily came under the control of his friends. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu began to embrace each and every tree and creeper, and they began to offer their fruits and flowers as if in meditation. The Lord's body was restless, and tears, trembling, and jubilation were manifest. He said very loudly, "Chant Krishna! Chant Krishna!" All moving and non-moving creatures then began to vibrate the transcendental sound of Hare Krishna, as if they were echoing the deep sound of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The Lord then clasped the necks of the deer and began to cry. There was jubilation manifest in the bodies of the deer, and tears were in their eyes. when a male and female parrot appeared on the branches of a tree, the Lord saw them and wanted to hear them speak. Both parrots flew onto the hand of the Lord and began to chant the transcendental qualities of Krishna, and the Lord listened to them. The male parrot sang, "The glorification of Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is beneficial to everyone in the universe. His beauty is victorious over the gopis of Vrindavan, and it subdues their patience. His pastimes astound the goddess of fortune, and his bodily strength turns Govardhan Hill into a small toy like a ball. His spotless qualities are unlimited, and his behavior satisfies everyone. Lord Krishna is attractive to everyone. Oh, may our Lord maintain the whole universe." After hearing this description of Lord Krishna from the male parrot, the female parrot began to recite a description of Srimati Radharani. The female parrot said, "Srimati Radharani's affection, her exquisite beauty and good behavior, her artistic dancing and chanting, and her poetic compositions are all so attractive that they attract the mind of Krishna, who attracts the mind of everyone in the universe." Thereafter the male parrot said, "Krishna is the enchanter of the mind of Cupid." He then began to recite another verse. The male parrot said, "My dear Shari, Sri Krishna carries a flute and enchants the hearts of all women throughout the universe. He is specifically the enjoyer of the beautiful gopis, and he is the enchanter of Cupid also. Let him be glorified." The female parrot began to speak jokingly to the male parrot, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was struck with wonderful ecstatic love to hear her speak. The female parrot said, "When Lord Sri Krishna is with Radharani, he is the enchanter of Cupid. Otherwise, when he is alone, he himself is enchanted by erotic feelings, even though he enchants the whole universe." Both parrots then flew onto a tree branch, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu began to watch the dancing of the peacocks with curiosity. When the Lord saw the bluish necks of the peacocks, his remembrance of Krishna immediately awakened, and he fell to the ground in ecstatic love. When the Brahmins saw that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was unconscious, he and Balabhadra Bhattacharya took care of him. They hastily sprinkled water over the Lord's body. Then they took up his outer cloth and began to fan him with it. They then began to chant the holy name of Krishna into the Lord's ear. When the Lord regained consciousness, he began rolling on the ground. When the Lord rolled on the ground, sharp thorns injured his body. Taking him on his lap, Balabhadra Bhattacharya pacified him. The mind of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wandered in ecstatic love of Krishna. He immediately stood up and said, "Chant, chant!" Then he himself began to dance. Being thus ordered by the Lord, both Balabhadra Bhattacharya and the Brahmana began to chant the holy name of Krishna. Then the Lord, dancing and dancing, proceeded along the path. The Brahmin was astounded to see the symptoms of ecstatic love exhibited by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He then became anxious to give the Lord protection. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mind was absorbed in ecstatic love at Jagannath Puri. But when he passed along the road on the way to Vrindavan, that love increased 100 times. The Lord's ecstatic love increased 1,000 times when he visited Mathura, but it increased 100,000 times when he wandered in the forests of Vrindavan. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was elsewhere, the very name of Vrindavan was sufficient to increase his ecstatic love. Now, when he was actually traveling in the Vrindavan forest, his mind was absorbed in great ecstatic love day and night. He ate and bathed simply out of habit. Thus I have written a description of the ecstatic love Lord Chaitanya manifested in one of the places he visited while walking through the 12 forests of Vrindavan. To describe what he experienced everywhere would be impossible. Lord Ananta writes millions of books elaborately describing the transformations of ecstatic love experienced by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Vrindavan. Since Lord Ananta himself cannot describe even a fragment of these pastimes, I am simply pointing out the direction. The whole world became merged in the inundation of the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. One can swim in that water to the extent that he has the strength. Praying at the lotus feet of Sri Rupa and Sri Raghunath, always desiring their mercy, I, Krishna Das, narrate Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, following in their footsteps. End of chapter. The Lord's traveling to Vrindavan. The next chapter deals specifically with the Lord's time in Vrindavan. So we'll leave it at that for today. Any comments or questions? Yes, dear Shanta Prabhu.
We're hearing about Lord Chaitanya relishing the smells in Vrindavan, and as being Gaudiyas, we want to, to some extent, to feel when we come to Vrindavan. We want to have some experience with Vrindavan, but it's not always. It's not so easy to get the whole experience from Vrindavan. So what should be done for a better experience?
What do you think about what are you thinking about in Vrindavan most of the time? What are you thinking about? You're thinking about Bombay, Delhi, Slovakia, Portugal, France, Czech Republic, Scotland, Philippines. I don't know, maybe you're not. Sometimes you're thinking about them. Sometimes you're thinking of other things, maybe. I don't know. What are we thinking about? How can I get some rest? What time is prasadam? Who's giving class this morning? How to get a nice place to stay? What? Okay, go a little higher. What else are you thinking about? Anything else? Hopefully not gross sense gratification. Sometimes that happens. Conditioning. Anything else? Thoughts on your mind? When you were going around Govardhan yesterday, what thoughts were on your mind? Probably thinking how many kilometers it is till the end. Oh my God, how much further? How much further? Someone, Nitai had his hand up.
What will they serve for lunch?
Yeah, we mentioned that. What will be lunch, or when will be lunch?
Health issues.
What else? These are not so they're related.
What pastime Krishna performed in that place?
Okay, that's getting a bit more transcendental, isn't it? Getting a bit more transcendental.
Get many darshans.
Pardon?
Get as many darshans.
Get as many darshans you want to. If we didn't have any time, you could spend the whole day in Govinda Kund, the whole day in Sarabi Kund, practically anywhere if you really get into it. You never reach the end. We didn't even stop at most of the places or even recognize their existence. Just like that place, we went down and took water from Shamakund. Some of us did. We didn't do anything. We just went and took water and went back to the kirtan and carried on. Time, short time. Well, that's a very special place, isn't it? What happened there, in that place where we took that water from Shamakund? Huh?
Krishna killed the Asur.
That area, but that's not specific, I don't think, to that specific spot on Shamakund. Maybe, I don't know.
Was Lord Chaitanya sitting place? He was really on.
Yeah, above there you see there's one little temple, little place which is known as the Lord Chaitanya sitting place. Specifically, what was his business sitting there? It's there that Radhakund and Shamakund were manifest, or he revealed Shamakund and Radhakund. That's where he was when it was revealed to the world. This is Shamakund and Radhakund. Remembering, going on pilgrimage in Vrindavan, remembering these various places. You may not feel the ecstasy of Lord Chaitanya because of this other baggage which we have with us. So many other attachments and thoughts still floating around, anartas, etc. Our chanting is not pure. Now there's one thing you may have noticed in this particular chapter we've just read. Everywhere Lord Chaitanya went, one thing happened. Huh? He said to everybody, chant. Chant. It came up maybe 5 or 6 times, I don't know, something like that. Wherever he went, was in Mathura, in the forest, with the animals, or even with the forest in Vrindavan, or when he met people here and there, chant, chant, chant. This is the gateway. This is the secret. It's not a secret, it's just a fact that in the Dham, it's not just by reading the pastimes, that's also hearing, Shravana, walking around, but the chanting of the holy name, this is the means to the Dham reveals itself. If you're with a very attractive person to your senses, how do you feel? I'm talking materially, so to speak. You're with somebody, now we hope that's not the case of our lives now, but just take a normal situation in this world. A man is with a woman he's very attracted to. How does he feel? How does he? He feels elated, not thinking of anything else, right, at that time? Generally. Only that related to that woman. He's not thinking of anything else. This is like his absorption, attraction, absorption. He's absorbed in that form or nature of that woman, or whatever he thinks he can enjoy in the presence of that woman, or whatever it is, and vice versa. Absorption because of attraction. Very attracted. Wouldn't have such a great attraction. And ecstasy comes after absorption. It's not something you can... You might get a little bit in association. You get, some feeling is there, no doubt about that. But that absorption, how to become absorbed. We heard already, Mahajaniyena Gataksapanta. By following the path of those who are in ecstasy. So this is all part of the path, it's just we haven't progressed on the path sufficiently yet. But if we stick to that path, and particularly chanting the holy names of Krishna, this is the method, it's the only method, Lord Chaitanya says, of progressing, not just against the effects of Kali Yuga, or to the stage of being free of anartas or liberation or whatever it is, but to awaken love of Godhead, or to become ecstatic in devotional service. Heart has to become purified. And even in Vrindavan, to appreciate the holy Dham Kirtan is so important. So important. Various times. Like to add?
Can I ask a question? It is explained that only by pure chanting Shuddhanam can we get to Krishna presence. That Namabhas, the shadow, gives liberation and freedom from sin. So it cannot give us the ultimate goal. So how does that transaction happen when one goes from the shadow of the name, which doesn't give the real thing, it's something which is good, but doesn't give us the ultimate goal? How does that transaction happen? At what stage?
Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains this transformation is primarily, of course it's up to the Lord, He can do anything He likes. The desire has to be there from our part, and one will get the association of a devotee who is chanting or serving on that platform. It's by association. By association. When one associates with a pure Vaishnava, a Shuddha Bhakta, if you're talking of chanting the holy name, when our chanting becomes pure, by association. And that association is not just a physical factor, but actually taking shelter of that pure soul. And particularly, it is a fact, but to hear the holy name from the lips of a pure devotee, to serve them, to chant in their association, is the transformative. When the time comes, that's how it works. One gets that opportunity. You have to be really, genuinely, sincerely willing. Krishna will arrange everything. We may not be recognizing it even now. We're still elsewhere. We're still working on the other stages. The Namabhas stage. We may not realize it. Even in our own lives, you could say that it's quite easy to see that Srila Prabhupada has given us the path to perfection. How that will manifest in literal terminology, literal relationship, we'll see. But at the moment we have plenty of work to do. Plenty of opportunities are there to chant following in the process which we've been given. But as much as possible, one time Prabhupada said, you should become that association. As much as possible, we should be serious about our chanting. And try to associate with devotees who are serious about chanting, even if they're not on a platform of Shuddhanam. But they're serious about chanting. There are many opportunities to progress on the path of Nam Seva. Many devotees are giving, practically speaking, devotees like Sachinanda Maharaj, Mahatma Prabhu, and many others who are really, we're talking more, you could say here, in terms of not just kirtan, but in terms of entering deeply into our relationship with the holy name. There are obviously different forms and ways that, is that them again? Like ecstatic devotees? I think so, sounds like it. This morning, maybe morning and evening, wonderful. So, that the Lord appears in kirtan, in japa, meditation, different ways He may appear. But as far as japa goes, this is our personal relationship with, time to personally associate with Krishna as our chant. Unfortunately, we're associating with something else. But when we're in the association of devotees, we're trying to focus on that sound vibration, trying to associate with a name. It helps us to become more absorbed. So absorption has to be there. And the more we're absorbed, Krishna, as they surrender unto me, Krishna says, I reward them accordingly. So He'll give us that association. It'll come. It's by association. Krishna will send, Krishna will reveal, within and without. You can also associate within by the mercy of the Lord, the devotee. And feels that feeling within one's heart that one is with one's spiritual master or with the pure devotees of the Lord. And have that effect. But particularly externally at this stage, we should try to at least be serious. Take advantage of the process if you can. Early morning, chant Hare Krishna carefully. carefully according to the process given by Srila Prabhupada. Faith in the holy name. Everything else will go away, come and go. Devotees will come and go. Temples will come and go. Opportunities will come and go. But the holy name is always there. You just have to sincerely cry like a child crying for its mother. It will come. There's no more mixture, no more other desires, no desires for liberation or material reaction, freedom from material reactions, complete dependence on the holy name. Please do as you wish with me. The more we come to that stage, and naturally the Lord will reciprocate. We'll get that opportunity. Whatever remnants of material attachment or conceptions we have in our hearts can be removed in that, following in that association of the pure souls. The Shuddhanam that is only the stage which may lead to the goal of Krishna Prema. Chanting without any anartha whatsoever, without any offense whatsoever. So we can sincerely pray for that. Sincerely pray. Stage of Namabhas, inattention, is we're trying to clear, we're trying to avoid the offenses by being attentive to the name. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur also describes this stage, association, yes, is also a sincere endeavor to be attentive while we chant, which evokes the attention of the Lord to give us the relevant frame of mind and association which is required to transform from Namabhas to Shuddhanam. Attentive chanting. In general, we don't include the inattention amongst the 10 offenses, but this is very prominent in our lives, and whether we're in Namabhas, we should be in Namabhas at some stage or other. But inattention is very common, very, very common. So the sincere endeavor to be attentive to Krishna evokes Krishna's mercy, and he'll be attentive to us. The more we're surrendering to him through attentive endeavor, the more he'll reciprocate like this. And clarify our hearts. And by serving the devotees, trying to be attentive in our chanting, Shushushros to the dance of Krishna, Vrindavan Katar Krishna, he removes the abhadras, the unwanted desires within our heart. So the heart becomes purified, comes to the level of pure goodness, and then there is no interference in our screen of our consciousness. Someone's actually experiencing the name is Krishna himself. One has firm, fixed in chanting the holy name. But we have to make our endeavor. Krishna will reciprocate. Ultimately, the association with a Shuddha Bhakta, pure devotee of the Lord. Anything else? Nitai?
When we are in the Dham, what is more pleasing to Krishna? Like to maybe distribute books or just to chant more?
In the Dham, to distribute books, or to
Chant more kirtan,
chant kirtan, or to take more malpura, more chapatis. What else? Am I supposed to answer? What more pleasing to Krishna? I don't so much what you do, but the attitude in which you do it. It's not so much what you do. I mean, it is, obviously. If you're spending your whole day in the cafe drinking limkas and eating pizzas or something, that's something else. Even that's better than, I mean, as long as it's awful. Well, Prabhupada said anything cooked in Vrindavan is, sometimes one time he said it's prasadam, but that's taking it a bit far. That's not what we're really here for. So it depends. But presuming we're trying to render some kind of favorable service, then it'll depend on our attitude rather than what we're doing. Krishna will make it clear to us if that's not the right thing to do. maybe through our other association we have, or through if we have an authority that we're taking shelter of, that may be made clear. But it's not. They're all good. Book distribution, chanting, worshipping the deity, cleaning the floor, serving the Vaishnava, serving the Dham. Serving the dust is cleaning the floor. What a service. Sweeping the dust of the Dham. Constant association with the dust of the Dham. Go along. Don't, as much as we can, be a part of the party. Part of the party. Different stages, maybe there'll be different variety there, but as much as possible, part of the party. Hear carefully from advanced devotees. Those who are more advanced from us, at least. Try to hear. In the Dham, first thing is to try to hear nicely. What's that verse? Ganesha Bigeshu Sa Eva Gokaraha. How does it begin? Forgotten. Those who come to the holy place, who think themselves this material body made of 3 elements, who consider their place of birth as worshipable. We can say, oh, we're still attached to our place of birth, or whatever, our bodily condition of life. Those who think that these children are mine, this is mine, it's me and mine mentality. Come here simply to take a bath in the holy river, or just visit holy places, simply for that reason, so we become free of karma or something. Not even just become purified. If you think like that, but you don't take the opportunity to hear from saintly persons, you're considered to be an ass or a cow. In other words, like mentality, it's not bad to be a cow, you could say. But the mentality of a cow or an ass, just an animal. They also do that. They think they're the body, they bathe in the river, or go unknowingly or unknowingly to holy places. They're in Vrindavan. That's not our goal. It may be good in one sense, you're good fortune to be here, but we should take full advantage. Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj one time said, not only he, other great saintly persons have written, what time do we have to visit, holy bodies of water and this and that? There's not enough time to hear and chant about Krishna. So hearing and chanting from the right source is the most important in one sense. It includes all these. You go to holy places, you hear and chant. You chant Hare Krishna, you hear something about the holy place. So that's also there. Not we're just going like a machine, dull, unconscious. The more we're conscious, the more we desire to hear about the Dham, the better it is. So all these are inclusive, but the principle is our attitude. We want to serve the Dham by hearing the glories of the Dham, and hearing the glories of Krishna, hearing the glories of the holy name, the glories of the devotees, etc. And just by reading sincerely, it's a great opportunity to enter, as we know, 1,000 times benefit, whatever service is rendered, but there's a degree of attitude involved there, of course. We can undo that by having the wrong attitude to a large extent. We're doing it for name and fame, or for some material returns, or something else. But with a sincere heart, selfless heart, if we simply open our hearts, it's just like these devotees in Vrindavan. Lord Chaitanya said, chant Hare Krishna. The animals, they went into ecstasy because their hearts were open. There was no false ego in between. So the more we can submissively hear that sound vibration of the Shastra, of the holy name, etc., the more our hearts will become purified by the mercy of Krishna. We have to open our hearts and not try to put some, conception in between us and Krishna of how we would like to perceive or analyze Krishna consciousness, be it in terms of what we do, or how we interpret the philosophy, or how we discriminate, and so on and so forth. Discrimination has to be there, but it has to be in a favorable way. That which is pleasing, or that which is favorable for the execution of pure devotional service. Use a little common sense there. These type of questions, these type of details are secondary to the very point or attitude of being in this opportunity of being in the association of Vrindavan Dham. Whatever you do, try to not allow negative, offensive thoughts to pervade your consciousness. They may come in, but immediately, in a repentant mood, reject them. How fallen am I, that such thoughts still pervade my consciousness. Hare Krishna, please, my Lord. You take a favourable. We may not be so advanced. We have these thoughts sometimes. Take shelter of Krishna. Beg for his mercy. Take shelter of the great devotees. Beg for their mercy. They will reciprocate. Hare Krishna. Anything else? Okay. Huh? Does he? Okay.
Still connected with the holy name. It happens sometimes that like in situation where we sacrifice the japa for another self, and I'm always struggling to find a balance between the
sacrifice the japa for
another service.
Another service.
Vaishnavas, in whatever context it can be. And it's always a struggle between the fact that you have to also be good in terms of sadhana to provide good service to the devotees. I mean,
yeah.
In the nice mood, to be in the
yeah.
nice meditation, Krishna before
yeah.
doing something.
Yeah. Vaishnav Seva, Nam Seva are both highly emphasized by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the Vaishnavas. So to get the balance between Vaishnav Seva or other kinds of Seva and Nam Seva. Generally speaking, this is the in the sadhana, in the practicing stage, this is the whole process, isn't it? How to regulate, how to put aside a certain time of the day for Nam Seva, and no other, in normal circumstances, no other service should intervene. In normal circumstances. Sometimes there's an abnormal circumstance and you have to do something else. Perhaps you're asked to do or forced to do or whatever. Or you realize that this is more significant. A Vaishnava is what will you do? You're sat on the banks of the Jamuna and there's a Vaishnava drowning in the river. Prabhu, I've got to chant my japa. What will you do? You're going back to Godhead, Prabhu. You should be grateful. You should be grateful. You're the luckiest person of all. Well, why don't you come here and drown as well? You may not be so keen, because they can't swim. You might be able to swim. So, time and circumstance where some devotees like, having a physical problem of some kind. Do the needful. There's a fire. You'll probably get yourself out of there if there's a fire or something. That's like extreme. And you've got to do the needful sometimes. But in normal circumstances, you put a time aside. Whatever time that is, you have to make that schedule. And with every spare moment, you chant as well. Now, on another level, you'll be chanting all the time anyway. Morning, noon, evening, whatever you're doing, you'll be chanting. The goal of life is not just to chant 16 rounds.
What?
That's a revolutionary statement, isn't it? "16 rounds." Prabhupada's just given this as a foundation. Necessary foundation. It's absolutely required as the dedication to the service of the spiritual master. A minimum 16 rounds, but that's not the goal of it, just to get 16 rounds done, whether it's morning, noon, or evening when you do it. How you do it is another thing. Try to give, as it's the most essential of all the instructions of the spiritual master, in Prabhupada's own words, then we should try to give the best time for japa. That's all. Whatever time it is. Your life has different features to it. You're working people. You may not have all the time in the world in the morning, I don't know. But try to put aside that morning time as much as we can for chanting japa. And if it doesn't work, put some other time aside. But choose some time. The most priority, if we understand the most important thing in our lives at this stage, whatever that is, I don't know, but if we take it to be our health, that's another thing, or we take it to be our sadhana, and amongst our sadhana, the chanting of 16 rounds is most essential. So we try to give the best time for that. And whatever else time we have, fine. Reading, kirtan, etc. But try to give the best time. That time management you have to see. That's the beauty of living in a temple, or a community where there's a temple, is that there's an opportunity to associate at that time, and the emphasis is on japa, 5 till 7 or whatever it is, time emphasis. So that's one beauty of staying in the sangha as much as possible. But otherwise, try to put that time aside, and perhaps you can tune in to some japa session or something to help you, I don't know. As much as possible. Try to avoid this typical thing I see with many of us, especially grihastas. They're driving the car and chanting japa at the same time, doing 100 things at the same time. It's not going to help us to come from namabhas. In fact, that's namaparad, it's not even namabhas, to Shuddhanam, that's for sure. Association means it has to be focused association. So as much time as you can put to the opportunity for focused chanting. And that you can do here in Vrindavan. Anything you do here will help to carry through to where you are in Paris or wherever you're living. It'll help you to get the strength when you go back. It's your base. So practice that. And ask advice from those who are good. I'm not good at that one. Advice from those who are very good at very regulated time frame. And they can probably give you some practical advice as how to do that, those who've done it. Can be done, no matter how busy we are. Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj gave 64 rounds. What would you do if that was the standard? If you were asked to chant 64 rounds, how would you manage? Even the brahmacharis would struggle, right? Isn't it? Most of them, yeah? If you were asked to chant 64 rounds daily, it might become very easy if you realize what's going on here, but in normal, it would be hard. How can I chant 64 rounds a day? Maybe once in a while. Huh?
I think we should try.
Yeah, maybe we should start this. Everyone should know, from today onwards, 64 rounds a day, okay? Yes, Jiva Pran? Sounds nice. Not so easy though, is it? With all these, you say, all these other things that have to be done. Now, when you say to Vaishnav Seva, they go together, honestly. Your taste for the holy name, Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj says, will grow by serving Vaishnavas. It's not just independent of that. Service to the Vaishnavas and Nam Seva must go together. We can't chant Hare Krishna and someone says, Prabhu, no, I'm too busy chanting. Well, what are you chanting for? I chant, it means, my dear Lord Krishna, please engage me in your devotional service. But I've just asked you if you could, this devotee needs help to, get up or whatever it is. No, I'm too busy. Let him lie down. No. To use a little common sense there. The willingness to serve the devotees is very important. Whatever they need, whatever it may be, if it's within our capacity. Krishna will arrange the rest. He's testing us. He's testing, are you really chanting with love? Well, not with love, but at least with a little sincerity. Or are you just chanting totally mechanically and proud of it too? 64 rounds, okay? You're sure to get at least one good round in out of 64, I'm sure. What do you think, Rupa? Huh? Hopefully what? One good round or 64? Well, probably, as you know, he gave 64 initially, he thought 64. Bhakti Siddhanta Maharaj, he emphasized 64 rounds for the grihastas, not the sannyasis and brahmacharis. He didn't emphasize it for them. It wasn't a regulated principle so much for them, it was mainly for the grihastas. He gave 64 rounds. Ooh. You think they're the busy ones? They may be now. But one of his grihastas said, Guru Maharaj, I can't do it, I'm too busy. He said, I know what busy you are. I know how much time you are spending in idle talk, in gossip, wasting time. So he said, I give you 64 rounds so you have no time to waste. No time waste. Well, we can't imitate that, but try to think about it. We do. I remember Dhanavir Goswami Maharaj, when he was a new boy in LA, he was sorry, I'm not going to start eating it. He wanted to read. He had a great desire to read. He loved reading. So he asked the temple commander, who happened to be Vishnu Jan Swami, if he could have spare time for reading. Vishnu Jan said, no. You make time. So he thought about it, and he did. He ended up reading 2 hours on average a day without changing anything else. It's not that we should become callous to other situations, but he found that, he was actually, a lot of time was being wasted. Sometimes you can get a little bit fanatical about it, but still the principle is there. He saw that he was waiting 10 minutes for prasadam and was kind of looking around and talking. He could read. He was waiting in the Sanktam Van, sometimes up to 15 minutes. He took every spare moment he could in his day to read. And he found he had about 2 hours average reading a day. So we can't imitate, but you can probably find the solution sometimes to the problems which we're talking about in our so-called spare time are very exactly that, to hear and chant about Krishna. That's the solution. And we're looking for a solution elsewhere sometimes. I mean, obviously sometimes we do, and health problems, you can't deny it. Sometimes severe mental problems or external problems may be there, but a lot of the times the solution is to hear and chant. Instead of hearing and chanting, we're talking about the problems. It's kind of a vicious circle sometimes. It's an interesting one. Yeah.
I was thinking, my situation is the opposite. Is how we continue to feel the free time with Krishna conscious engagement. Yeah, I chanted Harinam Sankirtan for 6 hours. I chanted my 30 round. Yeah, I read 1 hour. Yeah, I practiced more than 1 hour. Yeah, I still have 4 hours of free time. How do we?
You sleep. Catch up on lifetime. No.
Because there is so much space for Maya if we don't keep
I know there is. Absolutely.
But then we don't have the taste.
We don't have the taste. Well, that's one of the reasons Prabhupada did. I mean, it's gotten a little bit, you could say, a little different. You can't force people necessarily. You can only encourage. But Prabhupada gave such a program, you didn't have 4 minutes to spare in the day. Speak of 4 hours, and can't believe it. But it was, I mean. Hare Krishna. Spasiba. Hare Krishna, thank you for coming. In Prabhupada's time, it wasn't 4 hours of Harinam, it was 7, 8, 9, 10 hours. A whole morning and whole evening program. That's in the temple. Definitely to look at. Bhaktivinoda Thakur said for Grihastas, Kirtaniya Sadahari means every spare moment you chant Hare Krishna. You never finish your rounds. He said, if you think I've finished my rounds, that is a sure sign of offensive chanting. You've never finished your rounds. Never. We haven't even started in one sense. There are different ways of looking at it. But yeah, that, as you say, we have no taste. So where will the taste come from? Where does taste come from? from the tongue. You could spend extra time eating. Nitai, you can teach us the art of developing a taste for prasadam and utilizing a few extra hours of the day in the meantime, maybe. We all have our specialities in life. Some of us take hours doing something else, you know. It's okay, it depends on our attitude. Krishna knows our attitude is the attitude which counts. So taste comes, where does taste come from? Where does the taste come from?
Those who have taste.
Huh?
Those who have taste.
Okay, those who have taste. So what are you going to do about that?
Serve them.
Serve them, maybe, yeah. But even then, sometimes we have no taste. Krishna Das Kaviraj, Kaliya Krishna Das was serving Lord Chaitanya.
Engage in activities of bhakti which fulfill one's material and spiritual needs.
That may be at the beginning stage, activities which you already have an attraction towards. You tend to have more of an inclination there. Mercy, definitely mercy. You have to pray. If you desire a taste, you have to be a little bit prayerful. You have to don't expect it externally it's suddenly going to dawn on us. You know, it's not a mechanical thing exactly. We have to want taste. Singing songs, I tell you, the Vaishnava Acharyas is more than just a song you sing. I don't know if you've ever experienced that. When you enter into the meaning sometimes, it has quite an effect on our attitude and on our consciousness of hankering, lamenting that we have no taste, hankering for a taste, praying to them for the taste, and so on. Meditating on their spirit of devotion, meditating on those who do have a genuine taste. You sing a song like Kabhi Habhi Bolo, meditate on its meaning. When, oh when will that day be mine? Regularly chant the 6 Shastakam prayers. Fill the gaps. Like that. We've never finished our rounds. That's a fact. Ask for service. You don't get many devotees now like that. I mean, we were kind of taught if you have a spare moment, you go and ask the temple commander for service. Now it's like, you try to give an excuse not to do the service sometimes. We always thinking, more service, more service. It's just the way that it was, or is, still is. But we may not be in the same boat. But he said, Kirtanat Siddhahari means every spare moment you chant. Keep chanting, keep chanting, keep chanting. Taste or no taste. Taste will come. Prabhupada said the more you chant, and that's why 64 rounds isn't something we can do, but don't limit it to 16. Chant as much as you can. Keep chanting. Taste will come. If our motive is, let's say, chanting more is not just to show it off or some demanding expectation, just that's our business. Our business, at least at this stage, it may not be with love, but we have faith that this is the process of pleasing Krishna, of awakening pure devotion, chanting the holy names. Anything else? And as you say, it does help when we have a situation which, the situation we're in is somewhat satisfying to our whims or our material conditioning too. There's no doubt. So Prabhupada took that into account as well. Like young people, they like adventure generally. So traveling, we would travel and, do different services. Variety sometimes is there. Some people are already stable, peaceful and focused, but not everyone's like that. Got to get the balance there. Okay, well, it's getting real late. It's time. You still got, probably most of you have probably got about 50 rounds left to chant, most likely. So I know you're all staying up all night to chant japa, so you've got pretty much plenty of time.
The disciple of Bhaktisiddhanta, he had a nail on the wall, in the end, he hanged his shikha on the nail so he could finish his round.
Wow.
Because if you fall asleep, then...
He had his shikha fixed on a nail on the wall, so he couldn't really fall asleep. That's... Whew.
He was the temple president.
Temple president, my goodness.
So he didn't have much time to chant
Jeez.
his round,
Had to stay up all night. We had one devotee in London, Michael Critchley. later on got initiated by Prabhupada, he used to chant his japa. He used to try to chant 64 rounds a day amongst millions of other things. He was a fanatic. But he used to chant under the cold shower quite often, just to keep awake. Stand under the cold shower with his gums on, chanting japa. There was no toilet in the same room. I'm not recommending you should do that, by the way, in Scotland.
Just go outside.
Huh?
We just go outside.
Outside.
Outside, yeah. That's cool enough. Well, when I was in Scotland years and years ago, in the winter, we had no choice but to take cold showers. The temple president wouldn't allow anyone to take anything less than a cold shower. Even if you had 1 hour's sleep at night, he would make sure you got up in the morning and didn't go to sleep. He was quite a task man. I hope it's not like that now. Not so bad, not so good.
We have warm showers.
You do have a warm shower. Sense and gravity. Even here we have warm showers. Didn't used to. I mean, in Vrindavan, no question of a warm shower in the early days. Didn't exist. Only one temperature, whatever it came out. I remember the first day I went to New Mayapur in France. Every devotee who was there at that time will tell that story, I'll tell you. Every devotee tells it. It's one of the most memorable features of New Mayapur in 1975. One of the most memorable features in France. There was no heating in the whole building. This is December. It was a blizzard. There was a snowstorm outside. Unusual. And it was so cold. And there was a big gathering of devotees. And there was no heating in the whole building. We complain now, isn't it, if things are not very warm. But there was no heating in those days. None. And it was really cold. The floor, my feet were blue when I stand on that marble many times. It's so cold. Anyway, the shower was in the basement. And the basement had no windows. It was just openings in the basement. It's a stone basement if you've been down there. It's a stone basement. And the wind was just blowing through those openings. It's like straight off the ground. Into the basement. And there was only cold shower. And it wasn't a shower, it was a pipe this wide in the ceiling. And you pull a chain and the water would come down and it'd crash, like coming out of a glacier in the Himalayan mountains or something. Bang on your head like this. You hear ah every time. Big open shower area. There are 2 or 3 of these pipes. You pull the chain. I don't know what the ladies had. I only never went to see. I only know what the men had. It was so cold. And the wind is blowing through the holes in the wall at the same time. And you had to go all the way down from the attic down to the basement every time you wanted to go to the toilet or shower or anything. If you think it's austere now, you know, boy, those devotees went through, my God. I was only there a week, you know. Everybody will tell you that same story practically. You must have heard it many times.
It was like this a few years
Huh?
ago. It was like this a few years ago. Actually, when I arrived, we was taking the shower in the basement.
In the basement, but you had a proper shower. This was no shower, and there was glass in the window, in the openings in the wall. Yeah.
But it was cold water.
It was cold water nonetheless. Yeah, it was cold.
But we had to go from the
From the top down. Yeah, it's only in the last 4 or 5 years that the bathrooms have gone on different levels. Yeah, but still, at least the wind was blocked. At least there was windows down there, some kind of heating there. They had nothing in those days. Very austere. Devotees used to live very austere. You read about New Vrindavan, my God, the austerities they did there. Woo.
Radhe Swami described that the biggest sense gratification they had was when they saw the deities.
When they saw the deities.
Everything was so austere that seeing the deities was the highest form of relishment for them because they were all beautiful.
Even breakfast was boiled barley in water when I was there. Your breakfast was barley boiled in water. Boiled barley. Like some you in the maybe one of those camps, those concentration camps in Siberia or something.
It's like the same conditions like in salted bread. You know,
Salted bread, yeah, that book of Prabhuji, yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's why maybe they call us a sect.
And what was the sense gratification for us when I got joined was if you got a rotten apple. A rotten apple for breakfast was like a highlight of... I mean, there were many other things. I'm just saying breakfast time. For us wasn't so bad, actually. We had boiled semolina in water. There was sugar in it as well, so it was sweet. Never had halava when I joined, only the Maha, only halava, and the Sunday feast. Sunday feast was the highlight when I joined. That was confirmed. That was the real sense gratification, Sunday feast. You know, when you undergo little external austerities like this, you really appreciate things more. We're taking things for granted a lot now, and if you don't get what your comfort zone is normal, then you start complaining. Get rid of the president, you know. Kick him out, you know. My heater didn't work last night. I'm out of here. There's only cold water in the shower. Whatever. Get a little bit spoilt sometimes, but you know, not that we shouldn't be. Prabhupada wanted us to be looked after nicely. He was very sad in the sense that we weren't able to do that sufficiently in many cases. He should be looked after as nicely as possible. Okay, Hare Krishna, thank you all very much. I would like to give prasad, but it's a Ekadashi today. There's a little fruit over there if you want to help yourself, or someone can distribute it. And not much. Someone wants a teach. You can take a spoon if you want. Give some prasad. Huh? Well, you can bring it here. I don't know if anyone wants any. It's up to them. They couldn't eat anymore.